So now we're going to talk about private payers. Private insurance policies, sometimes an employer does not offer insurance coverage or insurance availability for some patients. Now, however, there are some insurance companies out there like Blue Cross and Blue Shield that do offer a private insurance policy. A lot of times they're a lot more expensive for the copays, the premiums, the deductibles, all of that is a lot more expensive. However, in the long run, if you do have a lot of medical problems and you do need to buy a separate policy plan, then going the private insurance policy way might be the way to go. You will get a lot of these, especially in larger cities. So, for instance, for a private insurance policy, they're still going to have copays, deductibles, coinsurances, premium, and in-network and out-of-network benefits. Depending on what policy the patient chooses, they will have either an HMO or a PPO plan. Group health plans. Now, sometimes in an office setting, a hospital, doctor's office with an employer, you're going to have group health plan requirements and eligibility. For instance, you're going to have enrollment periods, waiting periods, late enrollees, and then benefit limits. An enrollment period is basically the time of the month, the date, the time, the service that the enrollment is only available for. Now, most of the times, an employer will have an enrollment period 6 or 8 months after the employee is first hired. So, for instance, if the employer is hired in January, their enrollment period might start on August 1st and run through August 10th. In that time frame, in that enrollment period, the patient has to complete the required information that the insurance company gives them. Maybe it be a physical, past medical history, employment history, family medical history. If it's going to be a family plan, he has or she has a certain amount of time allotted to them to fill out the information to be sent to the insurance company during that enrollment period. Now, the waiting period is what we like to call the period before the enrollment period begins or while the enrollment period is in process. This is the waiting time before the insurer is either insured for the insurance company or has to wait until the enrollment period begins. Now, sometimes there are penalties for late enrollees. Let's say, for instance, the patient comes in, they started a new job on January 1st, and they can't start their insurance enrollment period until August 1st, but then they don't realize that, and it's already August 10th, the date the enrollment period already ended, and they want to still go ahead and enroll. They're more than welcome to do that. However, there could be a late enrollment benefit eligibility, either requirement or penalty they might have to go with. Benefit limits, that's actually the limit of the insurance company. Sometimes insurance companies will have a benefit life max that their insurance company requires. For instance, if the patient reaches $1 million or $5 million on that life benefit, then after they've read that $5 million, the insurance company will not pay anymore. So, for instance, like I said, it just depends on the policy and the insurance information given to you at the time of service. All right, so now we're going to talk about Cobra. This is another insurance company you're going to see not frequently, but more so than not. This was amended back in 1986. This gives the employees who is leaving a job the right to continue health coverage under the employer's plan for a limited time. Sometimes if a company either downsizes or an employee is fired or voluntarily leaves or gets laid off, sometimes their employer offers them a severance package, and in that severance package they will have Cobra insurance. You're going to submit this the same way you would submit to any other insurance company. They will have a separate insurance card. You'll look on the back, you'll submit that to the correct address, compensation, and benefits. So you'll submit that to the insurance to receive payment for services rendered. And participants usually do pay more of a higher premium than the previous insurance offered by the employer. Like I said, they will have a premium, a copay, deductible, coinsurance, all that stuff with Cobra. It would be a little higher than what they were offered from their previous employer. However, the plus side is it's a little different and it's not as outrageously priced as purchasing a private payer insurance until they get rehired and get insurance benefits offered to them again. A health reimbursement account, an HRA, this can be funded and set up by an employer. Now, once again, the stuff we're going over right now isn't so much what you're going to run into in the field. It's some more of your personal experience, some personal benefits, because when you actually get onto the field and you get a job, a lot of these options are going to be provided to you, not only as the employer, but also as the patient as well. The health reimbursement account, like I said, basically is funded and set up by the employer. It's usually offered to employees with a higher deductible amount. And employees may submit claims to the HRA to be paid back out of their out-of-pocket expenses. This is something, once again, your employer will set up with you. If you have an extremely high deductible or an extremely high out-of-pocket max, sometimes the employer will get with you and put a little money into a health reimbursement account. That way, when you go to the doctor and you have to pay these outrageous out-of-pocket amount costs or these higher deductible amount costs, sometimes they will reimburse you up to a certain amount depending on what the employer has set aside for you. Secondly, we're going to talk about health savings account. This is the most popular in the United States right now. It was established back in 2004. It is designed to help with high deductible insurance plans. Now, the catch is the patient must be under 65 years old to participate. It's a tax-free and can be used for non-medical purposes after the age of 65. And basically what that means is when you're hired and you're offered a health savings account, the patient and the employer can both put set money aside in a separate health savings account. Now, the HSA money can be held in an account by an employer, a bank, or a health plan. This holder is referred to as what we call the custodian for the account. The federal government decides the limits on the account of the contribution that is tax sheltered just as it does for an IRA. The HSAs do not have to be used at the end of the year. Instead, the account can roll over from year to year and be taken along by an employee who is changing job or retires. HSAs can earn tax-free interest and can be used for non-medical purposes after the age of 65. So basically what this is doing is this is a separate account that you can put money into as you work through your career up until your age 65. And then after age 65, it's tax-free and you may use it for non-medical purposes. Finally, we have the flexible savings account. This is something that some companies do offer, and employees have the option of putting pre-tax dollars from their salaries to their flexible savings account to be used for funds such as co-pays, deductibles, or co-insurances. However, the catch is for this, it is a use it or lose it after the year. So for instance, let's say you get paid every 2 weeks and you decide that every 2 weeks you want to take out $30 out of your paycheck and put it into your flexible savings account. That way, when you go to the doctor and you have a copay or you have a deductible, you can use that money for those. But at the end of the year, if you have not utilized that money that you set aside for your flexible savings account, it goes back to the employer. So you either have to draw it out or use it for medical expenses. Now, in order to get reimbursed for your medical claims, there are 2 ways to do this. You may submit the receipts. For instance, when you go to the doctor and you pay for your copay, have the receptionist print out a receipt stating that you paid with your copay, whether it be cash, check, or Visa, and then you can submit those receipts for reimbursement, and they will either mail you a check or put that back into your health savings or your flexible savings account or your paycheck, or you may reimburse or pay them directly. For instance, you have sometimes flexible savings account actually sends you a checkbook, and you may write a check out of that specific flexible savings account to the facility where services are being rendered. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit and kind of hit Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Blue Cross and Blue Shield is one of the largest insurance companies in America right now. They were founded back in 1930. They insure more than 1 million people. 66% of insurers chose to do the PPO plan, and 16% of insurers have an HMO plan. Now, I gave you an example of the insurance card. This is a basic Blue Cross and Blue Shield insurance card that has the subscriber's name, their ID number, their group number, and then also sometimes additional information. Now, the additional information basically tells you if they have dental, vision, or prescription, which according to this example, this patient does. This patient does have the dental, vision, and the prescription plan. That way, sometimes it's nice to know, sometimes the physician wants to know if this patient has prescription, dental, or vision coverage. And Blue Cross and Blue Shield does provide additional information, usually at the bottom of their insurance card or on the back. The Blue Card. This is a program that Blue Cross and Blue Shield offers, and basically what it does is it offers patients medical care if they're outside their Blue Cross and Blue Shield area who might be traveling or on vacation and they become ill or in an accident. Their Blue Cross and Blue Shield will be covered. For instance, the way that that works is if you're at a facility where they don't accept Blue Cross and Blue Shield, then what that they do is they go ahead and they call the Blue Card, which is the 1-800 number on the back of the patient's Blue Cross and Blue Shield card. The provider will verify coverage for that patient. You will then submit the claim and then they will receive payment. Provider participation. Once again, this is a yearly renewal of contract with the accept assignment. If the provider decides to accept assignment and be in the network and do the renewal of a contract, they would receive in-network benefits. And if the patient chooses to go to the facility that doesn't accept assignments or be in network with Blue Cross and Blue Shield, they will have out-of-network benefits. And remember, once again, out-of-network benefits are normally higher charges than what in-network benefits are. Pre-certification form. A pre-certification form, a lot of times Blue Cross and Blue Shield requires for certain procedures. Basically what that does is it's a requirement for the insurance company, not just for Blue Cross and Blue Shield, for many insurance companies. However, Blue Cross and Blue Shield is one of the biggest insurance companies that does require them. It ensures payment for reimbursement, and it's also a legal document. For one of your assignments, you're actually going to have to fill out a pre-certification form that I uploaded for you. It's pretty self-explanatory. I uploaded an actual pre-certification form along with a document that has specific criteria, for instance, the patient's name, the insurance information, provider information, and then approval information. All that's going to be found on the pre-certification form. Like I said, it's pretty well self-explanatory. Go ahead and read the provider and patient information and plug that into the pre-certification form. If you have any additional questions, feel free to email me. All right, finally, we're going to talk about the medical billing cycle. The medical billing cycle, after you receive all of this information, you're going to go through 7 steps. Step 1 is to pre-register the patient. Now, this step is mostly for hospitals before a procedure happens. For instance, the patient can go ahead and call in or stop in and get most of the pre-registration for the procedure done. Step 2, establish financial responsibility. This is where you always get all the patient's insurance requirements and specifications. That way you know without a doubt that the insurance is A, the patient's insurance, and B, they are a member of that insurance and they are eligible for insurance requirements. That way there's no surprises when the EOB comes and the patient might have a higher deductible or may not be covered under the insurance plan anymore at all. Step 3, you're going to check in the patient. Step 4, check out the patient. Step 5, review coding compliance. And basically what that means is you want to look over your CMS 1500 form and make sure that the procedures that you allotted for this patient are HIPAA compliant, which basically means legally correct and the doctor did do those procedures and that he is not lying or the patient is not lying about any of the procedures done. Step 6, check billing compliance, which is the same thing. Always make sure everything on your CMS 1500 form is accurate. And then step 7, prepare and submit the claim.